Hey, this is Robin coming in for Amhan's International Responder Development. Today in this video we're going over the 6 fundamental pillars of a stable and long-lasting NGO search and rescue organization. With me, Robin van Brugge, the lead instructor for SAR and the Amhan's International Responder Development. So what are we going to cover in this video? We're going over the 6 pillars of how a stable search and rescue organization looks like, how a future-proof your response NGO, and why these 6 pillars matter so much for being seriously taken by other teams and government. And of course, as a reflection of your own organization. So how are these pillars going to affect your organization? But also I want you to analyze how and what organizations have these pillars in place, and if your specific organization has some of these pillars in place. If so, how are they in place? And if you are missing your organization, and if so, in your organization, which pillars are you missing? So in order to get a little bit of a background idea of who I am, what I do, this is my background. I am the country coordinator for the Netherlands for the National Association for Search and Rescue, and I am the founder of Amhan's International Responder Development, and we develop resilient leaders and organizations. Along that, I am a Dutch private security officer, and I continuously travel the world for search and rescue. What is the origin of the 6 pillars? And how did the 6 pillars form, and how do I and you can use them? The reason why I formed these 6 pillars is because I had the opportunity as a country coordinator in the Netherlands to visit multiple search and rescue organizations, to look how their development is going, to monitor and to keep up with their development of their organization. But not only that, I see that the NGOs struggle with some of these 6 pillars and properly implementing them, and therefore either causing splits within their organization, causing them to not have right of existence on a long-term basis, which is something that is highly important for you as a search and rescue organization, where either you're a part of it or you're leading the search and rescue organization. These 6 pillars are for to look for if you want to be taken seriously in the long run as a search and rescue organization that has the capabilities as a response organization. So why are we going to need these very 6 pillars? By using these 6 pillars, we are able to measure our own organization's current stance, meaning that we're able to analyze in what ways we might implement changes, in what ways that we can enhance our future developments, and analyze the current developments we are doing, but also the things that we have done already. Along that, of course, the main point of these 6 pillars is to make sure that we have a long-lasting, long-term existing organization that is able to transfer over time and that's able to stand and partake and withstand time. So then it becomes a self-functioning, long-lasting organization. By using these 6 pillars, you're able to analyze current and future development needs and look at and improve your own organizational reputation and standing. Along that, these 6 pillars also help to maintain, attract personnel, volunteers, and paid professionals. Regardless of the amount of compensation, or even if you're getting compensation at all, any organization needs to have these 6 pillars in place to make sure that they have long-lasting impact. Which is, of course, what we want to do as a search and rescue organization, right? We want to save people. We want to help people that are in trouble. We want to deal with disasters where we can provide our skills, our specific skill set, and dedication that we have as search and rescue, unpaid professionals or professionals. So let's start going over some of the pillars. And this is one of the first pillars that comes to mind. This is something that's been taught by Mr. Jerry Whaley from NASAR and BERTS. He is a search and rescue instructor, and I have been learning a lot from him. And within our conversations, this is the statement that he had made. Any good organization should be timeless and faceless in order to maintain a right to exist. That includes for me as a country coordinator. That includes for any organization in general. If you want to have a properly functioning organization in search rescue or any NGO, your organization needs to be timeless and faceless. And not everybody is doing this. There is a reason why this pillar is in place. So, what are the fundamentals of this pillar? Pillar number 1 is basically it forms the right to maintain an existence over a long period. The wording, timeless and faceless, represents that a search and rescue organization can't be just led by one person. That you need to have a rotating board in place that is dedicated, that is responsible, and is focused on continued development of the organization. It also means that organizations that are being led by a person that is, or a board in general that is led by ego, is destined to be split up and then to die out later or sooner or later. With that, you also need to, of course, all of the other pillars will fall with this first pillar. There's a reason why this first pillar is in place to be timeless and faceless, because in order to be timeless and faceless, you need the other pillars to put in place. But they build upon the first pillar. To be timeless and faceless, of course, you need to develop a continued leadership and maintain a continuation of leadership. And we were going to come back later in the video on that. But of course, you need to attract new members, you need to attract new possibilities, you need to attract new funding opportunities. You attract everything that you need to make sure that your organization is timeless and faceless. So, in order to make sure that your organization is timeless and faceless, make sure to ask yourself, what happens if the board or the main leadership just quits or something happens to them? Does the organization still maintain a right to exist or maintain a capability to exist if the main visionary people are out of the organization? Do we have follow-up people ready to take over leadership if necessary? Are we working on that development? That is why it's so important that the organization is not being led by people who are led by their ego. The weird thing about timeless and faceless that is in contrary to a lot of people who found organizations is that this organization, if it's on a larger scale or any form of scale, it's a weird thing. And this is going to be controversial for somebody. Your organization is not your organization. You have maybe founded the organization. But if you want to make sure that the organization is being led over a long term, then you must be able to transfer your authority to somebody else. So make sure that you're mentoring somebody that is capable of possibly in the future taking yourself over. With that, pillar number 2 is a mistake that I'm seeing often here in the Netherlands, is a non-existence of a properly implemented, executed, and integrated unified command structure and crisis management organization. And it needs to be organizational-wide. Something with span of control, maintaining order and oversight, or it is chaos waiting to happen. And you know that Murphy's Law loves that stuff to the max. If there is an absence of a incident command structure, any shape or form, your leadership is not going to have the capabilities of financial oversight. They're not going to have proper span of control, meaning that they don't have the right supervision to supervisors under the people under them. So you don't have a proper chain of command. Within a response organization, it is highly important that you're able to scale up and scale down according to the incident needs. If you want to learn more about this, definitely go out and check us at amhans.com or responderdevelopment.com. Both leads to the same website, but you will need to follow our incident management courses. They will give you proper insight into the developments of your organization and how to maintain not only a proper span of control, but how to implement a unified command. Pillar number 3. Continued prospecting and selection procedures for new and potential upcoming members. If I look at some of the oldest search and rescue organizations in the world, and one of the organizations I am familiar with will be the MCSA, the Monday Club of South Africa. There are, so far as known, either the first or the second oldest search and rescue organization in the world. They're based in South Africa. They have done this the right way. There is a continuation of prospecting and selection procedures for potential upcoming members. Something or that are contributions as search and rescue, may be voluntary or unpaid, doesn't mean that our contributions are less professional or with less commitment. You need to make sure that this is allowed to be tested. So what comes with that with pillar number 3? That means that without new people, you are going nowhere. People get old, people leave, people quit with the hobby, quit with search and rescue, get involved with husbands, with wives, get children. Life happens. So you need to be making sure that you're able to select and have the proper procedures in place for upcoming and new members. One of these tools that can help you with this, the ADSTM standards-based position task books. For those that are following courses through either SAR, that come to me through SAR, or directly come to me for any type of course, you'll see probably that there is a position task book in place. So what is a position task book, to be exact? A position task book is a document which tracks the progress of somebody going through a course, or in this case, somebody that is wanting to become a full-fledged member at a search and rescue NGO or organization. For example, I highly encourage you to go to Google and just look up the ACM standards for position task books and try to comply with that standard, because it will massively help you to form the capability to do proper prospecting. What is prospecting in the first place? Prospecting is making sure that members that are wanting to join your organization, they have gone through the selection procedure. So I am assuming that you have a capability of at least speaking to some people where they need to be kept in mind. Okay, you have talks about them, you are going over their CV, or you're going over their capabilities. It's just a business. This is a business procedure. But since people come in at their own motivations and their own capabilities, and they usually contribute with their own gear and their own efforts, and specifically time, we need to make sure that that time is also dedicated and able to be used within our organization. But not only the people that are coming into organization need to match the organization's culture, vision, dedication, and future. So this is where I want to come in, is Coming back to the task books, I know I'm talking a little bit disorganized, but it's important. How can you properly use a position task book in the prospecting time? So, for example, somebody joins your organization, they have gone through the initial selection procedure. They have now the capability to become a prospect in the organization. It means that you need to set out a dedicated time, that you need to time range. For example, that could be a year, that could be for 6 years, could be for 6 months, depending, of course, on the requirements of your organization and also the standards that your organization needs to have, and that is also hooked on the training that you're trying to give from your point of view organization, but also your environment dictates your training. To get to the point, a position task book could, for example, have that you need to have a SAR Tech 2 wilderness to at least be certified in that before you get accepted into the organization. It can also be that you need to at least attend 20 trainings in a year before you're able to transfer to a fully accepted membership in the search and rescue organization. It might also be a possibility that you need to do at least 4 deployments, and that each get signed off in the position task book. Okay, you are now coming through the prospect. You have now done your requirements. Okay, then usually what follows is another meeting by board or by other members in the organization in order to go to full-fledged acceptance and a fully accepted member of the rescue organization. Why do you want this in place? Because you want to screen out those with the wrong intentions of your joining your organization. You want to screen out the possibilities for problems regarding conflicts of interest. But you also want to see the commitment of people, because search and rescue is such a fancy thing. I mean, we get to play with all of the toys that we have in search and rescue. We can hang out with law enforcement. We can get to be involved in this meaningful mission of saving lives and being there so that others may live. But not everybody is suited, and you'll see that for our prospecting efforts that people will drop out. And it's nothing wrong with people dropping out during a prospecting time. It means that they, at that point of time, were not suited to be a part of a full-fledged membership of the organization. It also helps you to maintain a certain level of control over time for dealing with the organization. But it also helps you to establish a learning curve and educational pathway for those that want to join your organization. Not only that, there is something extra that you need to keep in mind. You need to maintain and get insights from why people join and continue to contribute to your NGO. There is usually a deeper reason why they sign up than I just want to help people. So ask yourself, what do they gain from partaking in my search and rescue organization or NGO? It is highly important to ask, because during the COVID, a lot of people were joining up with organizations, and a lot of organizations lost their full capabilities almost, because they lost their unpaid professionals. And they lost their main base because these people found out during that time, hey, there are reasons why I'm contributing to this. It's not working for me anymore. And they were hanging so on certain people that organizations almost stalled because they lost so many of their vital volunteers to the organization. Also, the more people that you have within your organization allows you to build a better network, and allows you to form scalability, and it allows you to delegate more tasks that you initially are tasked to do yourself. So that was pillar 3. Moving on to pillar number 4. We were talking about that earlier already. Continued, monitored, and sustained educational development and training for everyone in the organization. Something that is in the textbook of the fundamentals of search and rescue is a big statement. The more you know, the less you have to carry. Because books and knowledge doesn't weigh anything over time. Why is it so important? And I stressed it earlier during pillar 1, 2, and 3 already. You need to monitor and keep up and log how many people are continuing the training. Are they keeping up with their training? Are they capable and are certified to deal with the environments and the positions that you are putting your volunteers in? This is a problem. I see so many organizations not do this particular point, especially within the search and rescue. If you don't monitor your education of your volunteers that are capable in the field, there will be a possibility of legislative consequences. Because for any search and rescue organization, it's just a matter of time before you get in court. It's not going to be fun. And a logbook of the monitoring of all the training efforts that and certifications that your staff do very likely are going to be a part of that court. Not only that, it provides a pathway to up capabilities. A continuous development curve is a cultural thing you should establish within your organization. If you don't maintain a continued learning and sustained educational development program, people will lose sight of certain skills. The problem is, knowledge is light, but knowledge is also perishable. So you need to train, seek, and monitor who was present at that training, register that, and see if they are able to continue development or improve in general on their points. Then we have a controversial one around the NGOs area. A stable income is something, and financials in general is a problem that a lot of NGOs in general deal with, especially if your product is free. Within search and rescue, therefore, it's very vital to run your search and rescue organization like a business. What do I mean with that? That means that the end or product or service might be free, doesn't mean you need to have or can't afford to have more than one steady income from many sources. Or to be short, you need income because your income for your organization extends the capability. Not only that, with governments, the problem is that they want to work together with NGOs, but they are not as wanting or not as eager to provide you with subsidies because they want to make sure that they use your services. But a strange thing is they want you to be self-sustaining. Like any good organization should be self-sustaining. Yes, government can help with that, and they can help with the capabilities of your self-sustainability as a NGO, as a search and rescue NGO. But it should not be the end goal of just relying fully on government funding. You need to find a way to keep developing new sources of income. So in order with that, other mentor of mine taught me that money is a communication method. It is a transfer of value. You need to start analyzing, okay, where is that transfer of value happening within my organization? Where am I using the money and financial capabilities and its communication method to make sure that we can provide the service for free? Because that is the main difference between a for-profit and a non-profit organization, is that the end service or product is usually free. Specifically in search and rescue, that is the capabilities and the problem at the same time. Since we are delivering a free service, that income stream needs to come from somewhere else. So you need to start analyzing, okay, where can I get money from? Can we provide a offer or service that might be a contribution that goes directly into the pocket of the organization that will enhance our response capabilities, that we will offer as a paid service? Something that I generally advise against is to beg for money after you rescued somebody to contribute that, because you're, in my humble opinion, making use of somebody that is in a very, very, very vulnerable position because you just rescued them. I disagree with that practice on my hand. There are some people who will probably disagree with that statement, but hey, you do you. I generally disagree because these people are put in a very vulnerable position. Not only that, if you are running your organization like a business, it means also that you will need to have proper marketing, sales, HR, and compliance to deal with the stuff that any other business has. Because you need to manage your staff, you need to find possible streams of income and sell possible sponsorship. You need to go find grants and write them. You need to go out and market those grants. You need to position yourself in the market so you are in a proper place and position to acquire those funds. But not only that, you need to also stay in compliance with, for example, ISO standards or ASTM standards or legal matters or privacy matters in any shape or form. You need to operate as a business. The problem is your product is free. So you need, again, find another way to get a stream of income that is particularly stable, if possible. For example, some search and rescue organizations do this by selling equipment to other organizations or to individuals. Others do this by taking memberships from their participants, and they give training for that in return. The thing is with NGO, you will always be short on money. Always. It's the funny fact. Just as any other person and business in this world, you always be short on money. Why? Because that is the difference for, of course, that. Time. The more financial capabilities you have, the more you can develop your organization, and the more you can develop your response capability. So that's pillar number 5. Then we have got pillar number 6. And that is, again, coming with the marketing section. Build a reputation. And once maintained, guard it with your life. It takes about 20 years to build a reputation and within 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll start doing things differently. Why did I put that quote in here? Because reputation for any organization is its core business. Making sure that you got proper PR in place to make sure that you're reporting out to organization. Okay, we have gone out and we have a public information office in place and we are holding ourselves to XYZ standards. It's important because if you build a reputation, your reputation will acquire the funds over time that cause you to become, of course, that more capable. Allows you to buy more stuff that is upping your response capabilities. You need to guard it. That reputation is a very hard thing to build. And it comes with network, and it comes with the net worth. This is something that is a child that is often forgotten. This is something to reflect upon. So, here's the question for you at the end of these 6 pillars. What pillars do you have in place currently? What are you doing to develop these pillars? And what are you doing to maintain these pillars? I want to highly thank you for your time and efforts. I hope you learned something from this.